Alrighty, everybody, welcome, welcome. This is Universal Wonders Podcast. I'm your host, Nakaya, and we got co-host Shannon over here. We're just gonna rock this thing out, say how we feel, and boom, boom, pow.
Yay!
Yes, alrighty. So, as far as getting into the topics of metaphysics, meditation, working with your gifts, discovering your own spiritual path that you want to go on. That's hard sometimes. It can be very hard to dabble down that path and kind of want to gain acceptance by other people. But sometimes you got to forget about all that. You just go for it and do what you want to do. So, Shannon.
Yes.
So, what made you want to go down the spiritual path that you're on now?
I pretty much didn't have a choice if I wanted to live. So that's what made me decide. It was literally choosing life. I got really sick at age 20. I can't even remember, 20 something, later in my 20s. And I literally could feel every single thought and its effect on my body. It made me almost catatonic. And I figured out that my thoughts chose whether or not I lived or died. And then from there, I found the Oprah Network, strangely enough. And Oprah had started on her metaphysical journey around that time. And so all of that made sense, made my vibrations higher. And then from that, I'm apparently out of bed now. So that's what started it, was choosing life. So.
That's awesome. Just want to throw that out there, but your aura seems like, in my mind's eye, it seems like really purple and goldish, like really high vibrational, like.
Thank you. I was just holding my amethyst before I turned
Really?
over.
That's
Yes.
probably why, yes. Like, it's really, really potent. It's like really, really potent. That's awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so about me, I started to dabble down my spiritual path because I was kind of on the fence of asking my question, who am I? What do I want to do in my life? And what was really going on in my life? So I was experiencing a lot of stuff that I couldn't really explain when I was younger at all. So it would be kind of like, well, this one story. Let's start with the story stuff. So when I was younger, I was about 7. My grandma used to come over a lot. And at night times, I'd have school the next day. She would come over and she would sleep in my bed. I had a nice, like, queen size bed, 7 years old, So this one day, I felt my grandma get in my bed. And I'm just like, oh, I'm trying to act like I'm asleep. Like, oh, my grandma's here. So I turned over and no one's there. Nobody was in the bed with me. Like, I've only told maybe like 3 people that story my whole entire life. And I turned over and I'm just like, okay, well, maybe it's just too dark. I can't see her. I turned back over and I stuck my leg over there. And I actually, like, my toe felt like it hit the side of like someone's calf, So I screamed, like, oh my God, like, what is that, So it was very scary and something for me to not understand at that age. But I didn't realize that these were spiritual occurrences until I got like 16, 17 years old. I'm just like, it's weird that this was happening. So it kind of like, I kind of made myself forget about the spiritual stuff, ran from it, and then it just hit me again later on in life. So I kind of had to go with it, to embrace myself, embrace just everything that was happening around me. And so I kind of went on the path to finding other people as yourself, just to understand me and what I'm going through. So, yeah.
So do you think that, or do you feel like that if you try to run away from who you're supposed to be spiritually, and I use that term supposed to be very loosely, but where your natural vibration really lies, if you run away from that, do you feel like it tackles you?
Yes, like really hard. Yes, really hard. I mean, you could be walking to the store and you're just like, you know what, let me just not be spiritual today, quote unquote. And then you just see something in the store or you feel something so intensely that's happening right there around you and there's no running from it. I mean, people, that understand where we're coming from. This is not like a made up thing. This is actual real life, strong spiritual occurrences. And I feel that people should really try to not kick the habit because, in my opinion, it could probably be worse for you later on. Like,
It can be. in the middle of a PhD program where I was making all A's and doing perfectly. They get tackled. So
Yes.
I would like to advise everyone out there to embrace it, not to resist it.
Definitely. So that moves us on to the topic of meditation. Woo.
Yay!
So, meditation, for people that don't really know, meditation is something that you can do to kind of like release and receive at the same time. It's the most blissful thing that you can experience as a spiritual being. So it's kind of like sometimes when you're just sitting there, you don't know what to think, you don't know where to go internally. All you can do is just sit there and think. And when you meditate and you take the time to relax your vibrations and absorb your environment spiritually, you begin to slowly understand your internal self as well as your outer environment. It's kind of really hard to put in words sometimes, but that's the blissful feeling. It's like once you first start off with meditation, you sit there like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just sitting here with my eyes closed. I don't know where to go with this. But then you start to realize that, those chatter thoughts, I call them, it's like what am I going to do today? What time is it? And all the stuff that really doesn't matter, it starts hitting you. But once that goes away and you start to level and plateau, it becomes a deeper, very, very deeper understanding of yourself and the higher power that's out there. So I feel like that's something that everybody should experience, just like possibly everybody should one day fall in love. It's just something that I feel like everybody should experience at least once in their lifetime. How about you, Shannon?
I definitely agree. And I think even to play off of that a little bit, I've been listening a lot to, I don't know if you're familiar with Abraham Hicks.
Yes.
Okay. So I've been listening a lot to that. I actually listen to it even when I'm not really listening because it raises my vibration for whatever reason. It does.
It's good.
And what I hear over and over is it's the quiet that you get to in order to hear. Oh, I'm so glad that wasn't mine.
Oh, is it mine?
Yes.
Just turn it.
Life happens, everybody. Okay.
That's cool.
So it's the place that you get to when you quiet your mind. That's when you can actually receive the impulses from the higher being that you're connected with. So regardless of what religion or non-religion or belief or non-belief, there are frequencies out there. And even if you have to go completely scientific and not believe in anything bigger, connecting to something that is a bigger idea, even if it's just the idea of a frequency that we can test and research, then that expands your ability to embrace humanity and embrace yourself. And then all of a sudden your entire world opens up like it's a whole new possibility. And so the thing is to quiet it. And that's what you're saying when you plateau. And I just want people to know that like, you can't hate your thoughts for being there, like you said.
Definitely.
But it does take practice. I love all of this interference. This is funny
Where
to
is
me.
the phone? Do you see
I have
it?
no idea.
Oh, here it is. It's okay. Ending the call, people. But everything happens for a reason. I believe in no
Coincidences?
Yeah, I don't believe in coincidences. Everything's supposed to happen for a reason. So, as far as with the meditation we were going on, excuse me for the interruptions, but I really think that meditating is something that saved me as an individual. I really feel like it saved me because there were thoughts that I had and feelings that I just couldn't understand. And it's like everything was just bunched up in a way that's like, like how you play with a slinky and then like you purposely tear it up and like it
Never
gets
did that
all...
as a kid, but yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure if other people did, but it's like
I'm pretty sure everybody else did.
Yeah,
That was
like
not me.
I would always play with slinkies and stuff and throw them down the stairs, and they would just always get so just whatever. So that's how I felt. Just like you just couldn't take me apart. I was just dealing with outer situations that I had no control over. And as far as me asking myself, like, who am I felt like I shouldn't have had to ask myself that at all if I knew where I was going in my life. So I had to just sit there one day. I felt like everything was moving too fast, and I just had to sit there and just say, Nakaya, who are you? Like, and at first I laughed, like, you know what? I'm not doing this. I can't do this. I'm not going to go down this way. But then after some time, about a week or two into it, I started to realize I was feeling things like my gifts were coming back. Like just everything I was experiencing, everything that I saw, everything that I felt had like a whole new meaning. Like you were saying, it's a whole new world once you really embrace and open up yourself. I mean, like your heart chakra is just connected to everything. Just so everybody knows, that heart chakra is your fourth chakra. It's right there, dead center in the middle of your chest. And there's a lot of symbolism of that in movies. People really don't understand. They're just like I think I was talking to like one of my friends or something, like this was like years ago. And I put my hand over my chest and they're just like, oh, well, people do this, this, and that. And I was just like, I felt my heart. I had a little pain. Then I'm just like, I moved my hand over and rubbed my chest. I was just like, ooh, like, my heart center is just feeling kind of funny. And they're just like, no, like, like they moved my hand back over. Like, no, your heart's over here, honey. I'm just like, well, your spiritual heart, like there's like so much information you could actually gain from a heart chakra. I mean, just from someone else. Like right now, I feel super, super connected to you right now. Like it's ridiculous. So like I said, as far as like your heart chakra goes, I think people need to, that's another connection that people need to really get into, because that's another gateway to yourself, is your heart chakra and to everything else around you.
And to play off of that, what is the first question you asked me? Or how did we start talking?
Like
you
when
commented.
When I asked you how, when we first started talking.
Yes.
Yeah.
When we first realized who we were together.
Definitely. So I walking in, into the building of where I live, and I commented like, oh, that's a really nice heart, rose quartz you got on there. And it's so small and petite, and the gold chain really complements it. I love it. It's really beautiful. But yes. And when you told me that, like your heart chakra, that at that very moment when you said heart chakra, I was just like, she's in. I was like, she is in. I was like, that is definitely someone I want to be connected to, want to be around, because it's hard, like you know the struggle. I mean, and even in going to the spiritual shop downtown, Sojourner, and it's just like a perfect moment. Like once you realize that somebody else is going down the path that you're going down, and they're like dedicated to it. This is their belief. This is what they want to do. It's a part of them. They live, breathe, eat, metaphysics and all spiritual understandings of everything. Like, I'm really into nature. Like, I just really wanted to put that out there. I'm really into nature and just understanding the vibrations of everything. Like, I'm just so intrigued by energy, all types of energy, no matter where it's coming from, what it is. Even if someone is not of the highest vibration, I try to like understand them, like what brought their energy to be the way it is, because like when I was younger and I was just like wild and my thoughts were like crazy and stuff, I didn't really realize like my energy and my vibrations and stuff is just not right. Like everything was out of sync. I was not aligned whatsoever. And being aligned is just the best thing ever in life. Many people don't, they don't really believe that sometimes, but I don't like to beat people in the head with my beliefs, but I'm doing that right now. Just for the split second, I'm going to do that. Like
You're just standing on your soapbox. You don't have a bat. You're just standing on your soapbox. Everybody's allowed to do that, especially when it's their podcast.
Definitely.
Get the soapbox.
Yeah, definitely. But, you're a co-host.
Embrace the soapbox. I'm here to help you embrace the soapbox.
Cool. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead. I know we dabbled onto the meditation for a little while, so we're going to move on to gifts. Now, what are your gifts?
I am still learning actually how to intellectually formulate what they are. I have a long list of them, which makes it actually, you would think that would make life easier, but it doesn't necessarily, because there's so much shame in feeling smart as a woman, and just there's so much going on when you have all these spiritual gifts. And then you also, so one of my spiritual gifts is knowing. So there are things that I think, and then there are things that I know. And when I know something, like right now, I'm connected to something bigger than me, and I feel chills, physical bumps on my arm. Knowing is so much different than thinking, but also it freaks other people out, because I literally, the one question that always lets me know I'm in tune, but also probably freaking somebody out, is, how did you know that?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
How did you know that? And I go, how did I not know that? Like, I don't know how I knew that. Like, I freak out. I mean, I'm embracing it now, but really, like, I just look at them like, well, how do you not know? Like, how do you not know what other people are thinking and feeling? Like, how is that not something that you experience every day? And I have such compassionate friends who are willing to sit me down and say, listen, you are different, and this is how you're different, and it's a beautiful thing. But I need you to understand it, because you get really frustrated, like, you know, so that's one of my gifts is that, but learning how to manage and empower myself instead of, I think punish myself, has been a challenge. So that's probably not my biggest, but
Well, no, I definitely, no, I agree with you, because when you speak and when you're expressing yourself, and it's like something about, I guess, when you close your eyes, I just feel like your third eye is just like, you know, like just looking right at me, through me,
it's creepy,
everything. Right? But it's like really.
I love it, because it's like gold and glitter and pink all around me, you know, and I get chill bumps, and I'm like,
awesome.
You know, in my own shower of love, and then I look up and I'm just, not you, actually, but most people are just like,
they're just like, why is she, like, you know, I can
they
understand.
don't hate it, because it's love. They don't hate it, but they definitely don't understand it. So sometimes that creates fear, but.
Yeah, exactly. And fear is definitely something that blocks people from even wanting to go down this path. So I think we're pretty brave individuals for wanting to embrace this and going through with this podcast, first off, you know, to even get out there and let other people know that it's okay. Like, it's entirely okay. You're not alone. There's other people out there.
In fact, it's normal. Very
normal. You know something? I try to explain this to people. You know, like years and years and years ago, maybe thousands, add a couple more thousand on that, this was the norm.
Yes.
To always be in tune and to always, you know, channel and be within, you know, and outer, you know, just connected to everything and be so okay that it's like you didn't even have to wonder if the next person next to you loved you or not, or the next person next to you knows what you don't know, or it's just like there was so much going on back then. But it's like the fact that we now, like this generation, is just like, you know something, I had deja vu, and it was just like, you know, like it was just like, that's so minute to what's, you know, to what the world was actually used to. And I just think that that is an amazing thing that like people like us, we actually stumble across what we were like, you know, ages ago, what our generation of people were used to. And I think that I really think that it's a blessing, and to some people it may be scary, but I really think it's a blessing because like when I first started and I was just like, you know what, well, thousands of years ago, people always did this. You know, this was a normal thing to read the stars, to know, you know, to be in cahoots with everything. And the fact that people nowadays kind of bash you for it, it kind of, you know, backed me down from even wanting to do anything. But the fact that it's a norm for many people, I think that's amazing.
It is an amazing thing. It's also creating a revolution. And just hear me out for a second. The reason why capitalist society exists is because of fear. Capitalism in and of itself, I don't believe is evil, but what has happened, and even, I don't know, just people, I don't know, I lost my strain, but I must not need to talk about it, but just know, I just feel like people need to know that our society is actually reinforcing behaviorally reinforcing, cutting ourselves off from our inner voice and creating almost a zombie-like trance. But I'm not judging anyone for being in it because it's really fun sometimes.
Definitely.
And it's not bad, but it's also distracting because our inner power is so powerful that they don't want us to find it. Now tell me, that is not amazing.
That's powerful.
Like if you think about how much money and effort and time and energy is put into our generation not actually realizing who we are and waking up to that fact, like that must be a pretty cool thing. Because once we wake up, you know, it's going to be a revolution. Like it is a revolution actually in motion at this time. So
that's amazing.
And
that
so,
you bring that up.
well, and that's connecting with our ancient selves, like our spiritual ancestors. But yes, I'll leave that.
No, it's okay. So, just wanted to ask you, you're familiar with spirit guides, right?
I'm familiar with the concept.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because when you get in tune and you're like got your eyes closed and everything, for some reason I do feel that you have them with you, like at least four that I feel like just stand right behind you and around you, that kind of like
They're called
channeling
Elohim.
you. Say it again.
They have a name.
Okay.
It's Elohim.
Elohim. Okay. I'm not familiar with the term.
It is some sort of biblical term that I have yet to look up because I've only probably said it out loud 3 times.
Okay. No, I've never heard of that term before, but I just, know them as spirit guides.
It
But
came to me.
I
I don't know where it came from. I have no idea what it means. It clearly did not come from me. I didn't even ask who are you, but
E-L, is it an O?
Elohim.
Okay.
Elohim.
Okay, I'm going to look that up. Let me write that down. Hold on a minute now.
Yeah.
To see what that is. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because every time you like really go in and you're just, start really focusing in, I just like kind of see them pop up there. And it's like you're channeling every single time you speak.
Thanks for that validation because I'm really playing around with that idea of whether or not that's what I'm actually doing, because some things come out of my mouth and I'm like,
What happened?
Yeah. Like, that's so beautiful. And then I grunted like Abraham. I mean, what it was, Esther Hicks, when she does Abraham, like I grunted like that just a second ago. And I was like, oh, that's funny. And like, anyway, it's funny.
No, I understand.
But thank you for telling me, because I appreciate the fact that you can see it and you do know.
Yeah.
I can't see it. I just feel things. And then I get these like downloads and then.
Yeah, I understand. No, like we're still on the idea of gifts right now, so it's fine. So that could be another gift, because I know it's definitely one of my gifts, channeling and being clairsentient. I feel like you have that really, really, really hard, because I really, really, really feel your energy right now. Like it's very, very out there. But as far as channeling and clairvoyance, I want to add that in there. As far as me being able to actually see and feel like your third eye and just like everything you got going on, I feel like you have many, many, many more gifts to unlock for yourself. But the channeling is definitely something that you do, like an everyday thing. Like it just happens, like it's natural. And for me, I actually do light language. I'm not sure if you know what that is.
That's really cool. No, I don't know what that is.
Okay, so it's kind of like, I just got really excited. So it's kind of like it's kind of like speaking in tongues. So I channel and I have spirit guides. I know who they are, like names and all. And they're very, very powerful. They help me out with making decisions and everything. And as far as the light language, it's their language, but it's healing. Like when I speak it's healing. Like your physical ears won't understand, but your spiritual body will understand. Your spiritual ears will understand. Your heart will understand what I'm saying. And it's kind of like getting Reiki, but like with words.
Or with tones and vibrations. Is that
it's
pretty much what that is?
Yeah.
Because
like
a lot
that.
of people can't accept like consciously. And so if you're speaking that way in a light language, that makes sense, because the light can penetrate if they don't have that conscious fear. Okay, got it.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, so when I'm channeling, it's like, even when I'm doing Reiki sometimes, it'll just like start coming out like really hard. I don't know if you've ever looked it up or anything.
No,
So
but I will now.
there's this woman, her name is Vanessa Lamort. She's really good. Yeah, you should like
I'm putting it in my
yeah. Vanessa Lamort, she's really, really, really she's definitely a healer. Like she's amazing. Yeah. Vanessa, and her last name is Lamort, Lamorte.
Just so everybody knows, I have my little iPhone out and I am typing it in. So there you go.
Cool, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, she's awesome. But when I do it, it's like, and I first stumbled across this. I was reading a book. It was called The Book of the Seers. It's like a Christian book that teaches you about how this one guy came along with his gifts, but down a Christian path. And I read it. I have no judgments or anything. I read it, and when I got to the exercise as far as speaking in tongues, I'm just like, it's not going to work with me. Like I was just a non-believer because when I used to go to church with my grandma and people just do it, like how people just speak in tongues. It's
I've
just
done it
so
before.
unauthentic. Yeah. Some people do it and it's
That's why I stopped
unauthentic.
doing it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh my gosh, is that what I look like? Like, oh my gosh, no,
Well,
I don't think that's Jesus.
When you feel it, yeah. When you feel it, like, you should really do it. Like when you feel it's pure light and love, like most definitely do it because I know you protect your space. I already know that. But when I first did it, I was like, okay, God, I'm talking with you. I'm here. Let's do this. And I just was like, okay, I'm ready to do this. And I'm just sitting, not knowing I was channeling at the time. And then I just got the urge to speak. Like to just want to just say a whole bunch of stuff, but I'm like, I don't have anything to say. Like my mentor was just telling me, you don't have anything to say. So I just, opened my mouth and it just started coming out like a lot. And I started crying and it was like amazing. And I realized I was saying this word, Selah, over and over
I've heard that before.
I had to. I looked it up. It was in the Bible though. I looked it up and it was in I don't know if it was in Psalms or something like that, but I only read up to Deuteronomy. And when I looked it up, that word was in Psalms, and I think that's like
It's a
in
few
another
chapters
part.
back.
Yeah, so
Or books back.
yeah,
That's what
so
they call
I'm
them,
just
books.
like, like that wasn't me. That wasn't me saying that. So after some time, when I started to realize like my angels and spirit guides are always around me, when I started to connect with them, then their language started coming through. It was different, but it was like so much pure light and love. Like now that my third eye is open and everything, I can like really like see them. Like, and when I say see them, people, I don't want you to like, it's not like how I see Shannon right now. Like we're just sitting here. It's like light body energy, swirls of energy that you would see and feel. And as far as seeing swirls of energy, I'm going to go back to nature. If you want to start yourself just seeing little flows of energy, go step out in nature. Most definitely look at water, look at plants. There's auras around everything. I mean, everything that has that's green and it's living. Of course we're not green people, but I mean like just anybody and everything, but
Depends on what we're thinking and
yeah.
feeling and what we're missing and whatever.
Definitely we could be green, right? Our aura and everything. But yeah, so that's how I dabbled on with channeling and light language. So that's like something that I do now. It's like I can't stop doing it now. It just comes through me when I'm at my like highest, like within, and I'm meditating and I'm in that bliss. It just like comes out of me. That and being clairsentient, having strong feelings, so strong to the point where they're just like downloaded as words. Like they're just, it's awesome. You know what I'm talking about. It's like the most awesomest feeling, and it's never something that you can explain to someone like, okay, you know what? I feel this about you. It's not a regular, like, I feel like you're being shady or just, something simple. It's like the most complex feeling. It doesn't matter what it is. It's deciphered. You understand it wholeheartedly.
It's a knowing.
Yeah, a knowing. Yeah, a knowing. Just what you said. And I think that it's pretty amazing that I even came across and allowed myself to accept that because, like I said, I was running from it and everything. So when I first experienced the whole light language and the speaking of tongues, I'm just like, this area that I'm trying to dabble in is real. It's realer than real. It's what it is, like, so everything that's happening around you in this time, in this space, is really, really real. And I want other people to notice that because people walk around living their life in a fog, not realizing that things around them are really, really real. And we're here to tell you that it's really, really real. All the energy, all the things, everything, it's really, really real. The negative energies are also there. Also, it's not, let's not, take that.
That's not even necessarily good or bad.
Yeah.
Life is about balance.
True.
So
Very
it's
true.
about intention.
Yes, but there are some people that I have come across. I know you have too, that you can like see.
This was
The-
probably where I could probably deal with a little bit more truth in my life. I just look away. I'm just like, nope, I'm not even part of that.
Yeah, and it can
Go
get
right on
deep.
ahead.
Yeah, energy can get deep when it comes to like, that aspect of it all. It can really be kind of scary a little bit. I mean, some people have gifts probably deeper than ours that see things that are like profoundly scary, like I've come across somebody that's seen something profoundly scary and it happens to them all the time. But it's go ahead.
Well, I'm going to ask you a question because I feel like you've studied this intellectually more than I have. Do you think that the person who is seeing these things over and over, is it because that's what they put in their arena, in their vortex, in their mind, and then it reinforces itself over and over? My PhD was in psychology, but my real love is, A, children with autism, and B, it is in behavioral science because it's pattern work. And so I had such a crappy time with an alcoholic tendency in my family. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus.
Yeah.
But that I had to learn how to read patterns. I always thought that's what this was, reading patterns. And so I studied it. But a lot of it is actually spiritually based. It's just an explanation. But the person who keeps seeing all of these negative things, their sight for that continues to be reinforced within their brain because they are having a human experience. So I wonder what would happen if they gave less intense emotion, because it's energy and motion, emotion, energy, emotion. If they gave less emotion to that and more emotion to what feels good, I wonder what would happen. So if you run across them again, I'm sure they may have tried that. Like, I don't want to give them, take away any credit from them, but I want to know that, I would like to know the answer to that. Like, have they tried that? What happened?
I'm glad you broke that down for me. Like energy, emotion. I really have never even come across
I stole
that.
I stole it from Abraham.
Oh, okay. All right. That's
yeah.
awesome. Yeah, I've never heard it broken down that way. That's actually kind of beautiful.
It's the most powerful thing we have. It's more powerful than thoughts. It's literally our emotion. It's literally energy and emotion.
It's
That's
a
why you have to
language.
be very. It's even more than that. It's what creates things. It's vibrations. Like they're doing studies now on monks. I don't know if you know this or not, but they're doing studies now to where like actual quote unquote science and metaphysics are intertwining. And I'm sure that I've got tingles again, so this has to be true. I think that we're not getting introduced to the fascinating parts of it because in the 1970s, CIA tried to cover it up, blah, blah, blah. It's still part of the thing. And so, but they're actually measuring the brain waves and the capacity and the way that things change around the monks when they meditate. So we're going back to meditation. When they meditate, they literally physically change the molecules within their environment. And they do studies on water. And
I think I saw
have
that.
you seen this?
Yeah.
Okay, so like you can actually literally give water hate, like thoughts of hate every day. Put a plant in there or something, make it the same, or a crystal or whatever you want to put in there because it'll work for probably anything. I don't know, I might be wrong about this, but anyway. And then the second one would be love. and then the plant and the hate one dies way faster.
Yeah.
And it turns into something way grosser than the plant that you give love. So literally, your emotions are energy and motion.
Yes.
That is how you create your universe. So whoever you're out there, just try shifting.
Yes, try shifting.
Try
Definitely.
shifting.
Some people
Don't
need
be
to
afraid.
hear that. Yeah, some people need to hear that because people think that the way of living is to, like, I guess they were like probably brought up to be like the negative
yes.
thinking and the, so they don't probably think it's okay to switch over, and it's so
Yeah.
easy. It's very easy, but to some people, there's different circumstances for everybody.
Oh, the
But-
brain structure is just on a psychological perspective or behavioral perspective or just pure science. The neurons are not used to being fired for the positive thing. And so if you can start that process by just noticing something different, then that person can, it's not actually easy. It can be easy if you decide to make it easy, but it's not actually
Yeah.
easy as a human.
Definitely. No, you're right. You're right. Definitely. You're right. And but that study, I actually saw this on Facebook. This woman, she sat down and it was like I don't know if they were drums, but they were like things around her like filled with like little bits of water. And she just sat there and she just meditated, and the water just like starts to vibrate. It was so amazing. I was just like, see, that right there will change a generation. That is just like
It is changing a generation.
Yeah, it is changing a generation. Excuse me. It's like so amazing, and it's like I have never gotten to the point where I, did the water test, but I do know when I meditate, I can get there. Like I remember, this was what was it, about 2 years ago. Me and my husband, we were at home relaxing, and I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and meditate today. I feel it. So, in this day, it just was in me to just get really deep. So, I started meditating and I actually got myself to alpha brain wave state. So, that's like when you, like, normal breaths per minute for a human is 12 to 20 breaths per minute. I was down to 7 to 8 breaths per minute, feeling perfectly fine, totally in tune, seeing everything around me. I mean, it was like, oh, that was more than bliss. It was something else. It just felt like I was like embedded within the earth, and I was just so grounded. It was just, I can't even use words to explain how I was feeling in that moment. And I didn't even notice that I was, breathing that slow. I asked my husband to watch and, time me to see, count my respirations and everything. And that's what it was. And once I read about that, I'm just like, that can't be normal, like what it is, but it is normal to be that way. And it was amazing. So yeah, I just wanted to piggyback off that real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were dabbling in the gifts for a moment and personal experiences. I think we talked a little bit about how meditation can change things. Yeah, like we just talked about that, and how it can control your environment, control your emotions, and help you get to a better point within yourself. And just, you can even help other people. Just 5 minutes. I read, what was it? Maybe 5 to 10 minutes of meditation was equal to an hour nap. The way that it rejuvenates your body.
Probably, you could definitely find it within the works of Wayne Dyer. In order to change your frequency, it's 15, maybe 14 now.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, thank you for telling me. I really, really appreciate anybody that has written books or just any type of information that I could absorb. I really, really love information. I'm like thirsty for knowledge. Like that's why I'm actually working on my master's degree for metaphysics right now. I'm almost finished, but this thesis, Lordy, this thesis
It needs to come out of you just like your spiritual light language. It needs to flow like that.
Definitely, it will flow like that. And I'm used to like writing papers, but like when I was in school and everything, but I've never actually written a thesis. Like a bigger, broader.
Well, welcome to the Girl with a PhD.
Yeah.
Program.
Yes, definitely. Congrats
Maybe in here
to you.
No, I don't have a PhD. I just know how to write all that crap.
Oh, okay.
It's not all crap,
Yeah.
but
some stuff is crap. But yeah, I'm not trying to say
very
your
good
stuff is crap.
scholarly writer is what I'm trying to say. It's one of my
Awesome.
things.
That's good.
So we can talk about it later.
Cool. Yes, that would be very helpful because I've been like stressing about it a little bit because I'm just like, oh, I got to answer these questions, and I'm like the thesis.
Oh, I can totally help you with that. If they've given you questions, girl, yes.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. But okay, so last topic we're gonna dabble on right now is thoughts and words have power, which we kind of went over a little bit, just a little bit, but we can still have open discussion. It's okay. So I'm gonna tell another story. So there was this, not there was a my mom, my mom. She would come off in a certain way sometimes, and I would just tell her like, well, why don't you think this way, or why don't you think that way? And she'll just be like, well, like it comes off as if like I'm trying to like tell her what to do or like be negative, but it's not really like that. I'm just like, okay, I just want to see how it would change you just if you thought a little bit higher. Like I always tell her that, just think higher, feel higher, and I feel like sometimes your thoughts wouldn't get you down, or it's like she changes her own environment sometimes just thinking that one minute thought of negativity, and it just like it's like a bomb that goes off. Like negative energy is so toxic, and not many people understand how toxic it is because like I said before, they've grown up around it, they're around it, it's just what they're used to. But thoughts have power, feelings have power, everything has power, and as you always say, it's magical. Everything is so magical.
It is.
Yeah, everything's so magical. So yeah.
So I can I walk you through that a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, yeah.
So just based off of my own experiences, asking someone why activates the part of their brain that's defensive. Mm-hmm. So the next time you try to have a dialogue with your mom, don't use that word.
Okay.
And then this is just
True. It's true.
I just
Yeah.
let stuff come out. So if
Yeah.
I get like really, you can just let me know.
No, you're good.
So, and then the second thing is, so negative energy only exists to the degree in which we give it our own energy. Mm-hmm. And so it can be very powerful because we are trained to pour ourselves into it. That's what creates money. That's what creates sort of a black hole in our society. That's what divides us, like all of that. And so what I think my team would encourage you to do.
Yeah.
Let's just be real.
Yeah, your team.
Let's just say, like, this is not really me right here. But my team would probably encourage you to pull your energy out of that. And instead of giving energy to helping her change her mind, because in order to change her mind, she actually has to be there. She can get more general, or she can shift to something. So you can actually prompt her to shift to something like, hey, Mom, like, guess what just happened? And not in a rude way, but, something more positive. And once she starts to feel that shift, especially from you, she's going to start going, oh, what does she know that I don't? I do know that they're right about this.
Yeah, no,
this committee
I
right
can
here.
feel,
Because I did it to probably, yes, my mom, which I love you, Mom, and you're amazing.
Yeah.
But I did it to say, like, I think we did it together, but I definitely did it. Like I took that advice and I went with it. And so instead of saying why to my mom, because it literally was like nails on a chalkboard. But of course I wanted to know why. We're the same. You and I are very much the same. We're just like, no, really, like why?
Yeah, like it just.
If you have the answer key, why aren't you using it, right? Like this is science. Like I don't understand why you don't get it. So I get your frustration, but that almost that black hole just keeps pushing because she's also in it. So you've got to create like a different opening for something better and create something better. Definitely. So your emotion, if it goes into creating a better place for you both to exist, that's where you're going to get comfortable, and then it's going to create something beautiful. Like what my mom and I have now, never in a million years would think that it would have happened based on how things are going. But now we have the most beautiful, loving, amazing relationship, connection, and understanding of each other that we never would have had if we had have both stayed. And does that make sense?
Yeah, in that
And
space.
so,
I understand.
yeah, I like to help people solve their
No,
problems.
you are
And
helping
so-
me. Trust me. No,
Okay.
you are helping me
don't
because,
know.
like, I've tried consecutively. I've tried to understand, where I was
Intellectually,
going wrong. And
I would
yeah,
challenge you to shift your
Yeah.
energy where you want to go instead of intellectualizing. That's actually where we get that's where we lose our power, is the intellectualizing.
definitely.
Because we're already very intellectual. Like we were given that gift. If we
Yes.
would like to refer back to the gift, you and I
Minds are
consume.
powerful.
Well, we in particular consume information at a very fast speed, and so it's almost addicting to be
It
intellectual,
is.
right?
Yeah,
So
it is. It is.
for us, it's very reinforcing, but yeah. So it's normal for us to want to use that because it is a superpower. But if the bigger superpower is creating an emotional place for which your intellectual ideas can come out, and people can actually hear them.
Definitely. That was very well put. Very, very well put.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say thank you, team. Fives all
team.
around. That is awesome. Yeah, I mean, like I just try my best, and even just not even with my mom, just people, like just people in the world, and it's like it's hard to get them to shift. But I'm glad that you
That's not
told
your
me
job.
about the why. Thank you. Sometimes I feel like it is. I
It's
really
not
do.
your job.
But being a healer, sometimes you feel like I feel like a slight obligation, like to just be like, well, why, and get the worrying and all that. It's just like, but I'm glad you told me that why kind of like strikes a nerve because that's kind of where things, when you start the question and so that's very understanding that you just threw that at me. I understand where you're going with that. It's awesome.
And thank you to the psychologist who did all the research.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah. This is awesome. I'm so glad really that I have someone to connect with like this because I told you before it was difficult. And everybody that I know is in New Jersey, so being here for these 2 years, it was, I like it. I love it. It's a new environment and everything, but when I grew up, not many people knew that I was even had my mind on this, it was I brought it up a little bit in high school to a few people that I knew, but it wasn't delved deep, okay, I'm about this, because I didn't even know what was going on at the time. So I think that it's awesome that I'm even doing this right now. I'm proud of us. Yeah, I'm so proud of us that we're even going down this path, and I do feel like our podcast will be great because we're gonna have a lovely audience, right?
Yes.
So we're gonna go ahead and try to get this on Google Play, iTunes. We're gonna have it all out there. My husband has some tips on that, so we're gonna be to everybody's ear hopefully very, very soon. And I'd like to leave you all with an affirmation. I really would
love
keep
this.
you to keep you going in your everyday life and just keep your vibrations high. Always keep them high no matter where you are, even in the negative times. It's not what people like to do, but there's always a positive in the negative situation in any angle. Sometimes things happen, sometimes they're meant to happen that way, even if it's negative. And you are meant to grow from that. So with that being said, the affirmation of the evening is, I will walk down the path of knowing my mystical self. That's powerful. I'm going to repeat it again. I will walk down the path of knowing my mystical self. And being mystical is not specifically tarot cards and just being spiritual, and it can just have so many other meanings, but it's not always just around the tarot cards and the tea leaf readings and different mystical things that people are brought up not to understand. Being mystical is knowing your inner self. Being mystical is
your intuition.
Yes, knowing your intuition. It's all the above in that area. And I feel like listening to us, you'll slowly get yourself there.
Or fast.
Yes, or fast, yeah, definitely. Definitely. I'm glad you threw that out there. I don't want it to be like, we're like baby stepping it, with the audience or anything, but yeah.
I think you heard the word baby.
Yeah.
The baby's crying in the bedroom. He's so cute.
Yeah, but we love you guys, and we hope you tune in to episode 2, and have a great evening.
And thank you for listening.